It's Andrea Foulkes, and I wanted to talk about where we're at now on the planet. And we're all in different places, different levels of consciousness, different levels of awakening to what's going on. And I think, you get to choose where you're at. And I say you get to choose, but do you get to choose? Because having spent 25 years taking people inside themselves, healing womb trauma, trauma from being in the womb, ancestral trauma with people, past life trauma, inner child trauma, which is key to so much stuff. If you haven't healed on a sliding scale, a level of that work and that emotional trauma, which is the gift that keeps giving, if you do that inner work, you can be very naively gullible and very naively a vibrational match to non-benevolent beings that exist in other dimensions of reality, and they can feed you all sorts of information. The biggest point of the work that I actually do is working with entities, and in 25 years, entities are attached to you through emotional cohesion. So you've got to heal the entities. And when you don't heal that, you can kind of be influenced by the programming of your childhood. And I say the programming of your childhood, and with the best will in the world, even if you've had the loveliest of childhoods, there is a lot of sci-fi films and a lot of things that can gain your attention, and you can get very enamored by those, and it can lead you potentially in the wrong direction as an adult. And when we don't look at that deep wounded inner self, we become a vibrational match because we have the frequency compatibility to beings in other dimensions of existence. Now, these beings can tell us all kinds of things of who they are, but we get so enamored by not being in this dimension that we start to become enamored with the other dimension of reality, if that makes sense. And that's where you get all this, aliens and ETs. I'm not denying that beings exist. There are beings, energies. I've experienced them myself, but they don't usually come dressed in a little spacesuit, that. And I don't say it just from my experience. I say it from having worked with clients, day in, day out for 25 years, helping people heal emotional trauma, evolve consciousness. And I always take people between lives to this place where I call it the Temple of Sacred Knowledge, where you meet your own multidimensional self, you meet any benevolent soul family beings. Now, I don't want to preempt, because if you're coming for a session with me, with me, I don't want to say what these beings look like, but they have a look about them, and formulaically everybody seems to describe them in the same way. The love that emanates from them many times is, I see people visibly crying because the love, they're like, oh, the love is so big. And also people get that it's a game. This is a play, it's a game, and perhaps at some points they've taken the play and the game far too seriously, And the work that I do, my main motivation has always been to heal consciousness and to heal our physical bodies. That has been always my greatest desire and passion for what I'm doing. Not that you're waiting for med beds, you are your own med bed, all of this stuff where you're waiting for, and Ji Young has done an amazing video. I really like this girl's work, if you're familiar with her. She's more of a researcher than a therapist. She's not, I think she did dabble for a while in therapy, but she's thorough in her research. She's consistent in her research, consistent in the image she portrays about herself. Very rarely does she collaborate with other people. She's not so much a collaborator. She's more just a lone wolf, right? And I say lone wolf with the greatest respect. She's just, you know, sharing her research, sharing her information. She's consistently shares this information, but she's got a little bit more feisty in the last few days. And, you know, she'd come to the same conclusions that I've come to about the evolution of consciousness, about, you know, is there programming, and is there trauma, and is that why people are believing they're going to be rescued by aliens and beings in other dimensions, and, you know, military interference. You know, I have had experiences, but I'm very, very aware that the location of my property is, you know, in the flying zone of a military air base. So hence the fact that I have seen little silver spaceships drift past my hedge, but I in no way do I think that they are anything but military interference. Now, I've had other experiences with beings, consciousness. There are all kinds of beings out there, but you have to be so grounded. And the key is to heal your consciousness, heal your physical body, reclaim the soul shards of your body from other timelines. Because when there's been trauma, be it ancestral trauma, inner child trauma, womb trauma, past lives, you know, we can keep repeating the Groundhog Day of the past lives and staying in the same repeated story time and time again until we evolve our consciousness and we see the pattern of the past lives and what we've done in other lifetimes. And we don't want to keep doing the same old thing. And the thing you don't want to be doing is keep doing the same old thing and giving your power away to the same old people from past lives that you gave your power away to, you know, and gave away your own discernment and free will to, because they shout louder than other people and they seem to have got a bigger following, so their videos come up in the algorithms more than other people's, and you get sucked into the belief that a savior's coming to save you, whether it's a man in a spacesuit and people who are flying around on aircraft, or it's actually a religious figure. And I think to a degree we've in 2025 swapped religious figures for galactic beings, and it's all looking a little bit Star Trekky, and I don't know whether that really is the truth. I think that might be the byproduct of programming in childhood, a lot of cartoons and films you've been exposed to, and you're looking for saviors and people to save you, and so it becomes very attractive to look to those beings. You know, the knight in shining armor is now in a spacesuit, living in a non-physical dimension. We have to be very wary of this. Let me just see any messages. Apologize, got to put glasses on. Hi everybody. Thank you. Yeah, the thing is, I think the first person with their comments, I think you're missing the point. You know, you may well be where you're at and you're entitled to your opinion, but nobody is coming to save you. You are going to have to evolve your own consciousness and evolve it to the point where you take personal responsibility for yourself and you wheedle out what you're responsible for and what you're not responsible for. And with emotional trauma from childhood, we can take on far too much responsibility. And then we realize, actually, that's not my responsibility. This is my responsibility. So you have to wheedle out what is your responsibility, what is not. A lot of religion is programming. It's also misunderstood. And you have to research it a lot to really understand how we've been misguided in all that. But you're entitled to your opinion. If you think it's going to help you, follow that path. But what you might perceive as a Christ consciousness is an awakening within yourself. And you know, when you heal the energies in your body, you move them up your spine, you move them into the crown. That's why we always depict beings that we have labeled religious, but I don't think that was their original intention, to be part of a religion. They were just enlightened beings who held a higher frequency of consciousness. So we would describe them with like a yellow aura around their head, or you would see stars around their head. You know, in all the religious figures, we've always put that. But, you know, they've made it so there's one of them. There's one man. Geez, one. I don't think that there's only one person. I think there are quite a few people with that level of consciousness, and probably were at the time, you know, but they've written it into a book, a Bible, they call it the Bible. And, you know, you want to believe that it's rarer than a saber tooth. There's just one person. And the women have got misaligned out of this as not being quite as evolved when the divine feminine is, because the masculine cannot even appear on the planet without the divine feminine. You know, you won't even exist, you know. They may be developing how you can grow a baby in a robotic womb, but you won't have compassion and empathy being held in that experience. So I think it's a very dangerous path to go on in that level of technology. And so I think you want to be very careful where you go with the technology. And so, you know, in the work that I do, you know, which is helping people process their emotional Akashic records, be that in person or online. In person, I'm doing 2-hour regression, deep regression sessions. It's not hypnosis, you're already hypnotized. It's the unhypnotizing of yourself to help you heal your womb trauma, inner child, ancestral stories, past life stories. This is so powerful. These sessions in person are 2 hours. The work that I do online, you know, whether it's Messenger, used to be Skype, that's phased out nowadays, sadly, recently. So it's now the phone, Skype, or I'm reluctant to use Zoom, but I will if necessary. I'm reading your emotional Akashic records, and I'm using sound frequency, whether we call it light language or sound frequency. I also work with that because the universe is made up of sound and frequency. And when you use sound and frequency, you can open portals and dimensions within yourself, and you align with places on the planet that are on ley lines, song lines, dragon lines, whatever you want to call those lines, and you make sound on those lines, and you can have an impact on the ley line, an impact on your body. You know, there's a lot of inner alchemy that can be taking place. But if you're following the work of other people and you're not doing this inner work, you're not reaching out for help with really experienced intuitive therapists who can help you, and you're struggling on your own, and you're listening to people who are telling you don't seek help, don't do this, just listen to me, I would be very, very wary. I'd be very wary about being guided onto galactic spaceships and, you know, where that's really going to take you. Is it going to heal your body? Is it going to heal your consciousness? You know, so there's so much information out there for you to discern. Take your power back, do your own thing. You know, I'm just sat in my car at the canal, and just wanted to make a live just saying that. There's much more I could share, but, you know, my life has just taken a little bit of a different tangent. You know, we all go through stages where our lives take different tangents. Right now, for the last X amount of months, you know, I have been guided into healing a lot of ancestral stuff by purely having to rehome all my parents' possessions. It's a long-winded task, and please don't tell me I could get a house clearance company, because that's the easy option in many ways. You're going to avoid the healing. You're just going to get back on with your life. But if you want to heal ancestral programming or trauma and truly understand the path of your ancestors, and honor your family, honor your parents, I would clear to the hugest of degrees the stuff in their house yourself. You really need to. My parents have huge amounts of stuff, huge boxes, loads of things to go through. I would put time aside to do that. I appreciate when you've got a full-time job, it's a bit difficult. I'm trying to mix in doing that with my parents. I live 5 hours away and going back to Glastonbury. because I'm going to try and rehome some more of their stuff and my stuff. I think we're at this point in life now, we just want to get lighter and lighter, and we don't want to own so many possessions, and we don't want to store things for the bottom drawer. You know, do you remember when I remember my auntie saying, oh, take this, have it for your bottom drawer? Well, you know, I don't think any of those things from the bottom drawer ever made their way into my house, or that I needed them. You know, nowadays people have their own money, they go and seek what they want to furnish their houses themselves, but that doesn't mean you can go and sell your treasures or rehome your treasures to someone else. And I think that that is part of your ancestral healing. Although we're going to heal the story of your ancestors, when you're clearing the house, you might find letters and newspaper cuttings and all kinds of information that might help you better understand your ancestors, which is what I found. And it is a healing journey, you know, it's a big roller coaster being on that journey, but it's worth it. It's really worth it. Let me see if anybody's got a question about, you know, I said 25 years helping people heal past lives, emotional trauma, get off the reincarnation grid. You don't need to keep reincarnating. I think people think, because I do past life regression, that I think you have to keep dying and reincarnating, but you don't need to keep dying and reincarnating. You can evolve your consciousness out of this endless perpetual cycle. Like I keep saying, my biggest passion for you in the work that I offer is to help you release emotional trauma, and the byproduct of healing emotional trauma is we go into the organs of the body, we hear the stories, we go into the past lives and we heal. And when we do that, our bodies heal and our consciousness expands. You know, we expand into a more greater visionary perspective of ourselves and other people, and we have more capacity for love and compassion and forgiveness. You know, I have had a parting of the ways myself recently with people I have collaborated with in the past, and I only hold love in my heart for them, but I just think they're going in the wrong direction. They possibly think I'm going in the wrong direction, but I didn't shout at them or get angry. I may have written my truth and it might seem amusing and comical to a degree, but that's because I just want people to see how fanciful it might be, and you know, how misguiding it might be. And I'm sure those people have well-meaning for humanity. I'm sure we all want the best for humanity, but I'm not sure we're all guiding people in the correct direction, let's put it that way. So yeah, I hope that's helpful. Thanks for joining me if you've never joined me before and you don't know what I'm about. So I hope that the information I'm sharing while I'm sat in the car, let me just show you where I am, because you might like that. I'm at the canal. Can you see these? I love that. Can you see the name of that boat there? It is called Sanity Again. So I'm at the canal in a little place called Nantwich, and I'm going to go for a walk along the canal in a moment, so I can just, I love it at the canal. I mean, it's exactly what the boat says there, Sanity Again, you know, because I'm working on my parents' house, but I will be back this weekend in Glastonbury, because there's a village fete nearby that I'm going to go to help rehome more of my parents' treasures and knickknacks and my own stuff. I'm going to have a clothes stall there, and that, if you're in that area, it's called the Boltonsborough Village Show. It's just outside Glastonbury. I have a stall there. I'm going to be getting rid of my treasures, my vintage treasures there. So if you feel to come, it's this bank holiday Monday for August bank holiday, and I think it starts at midday, so I'll have some treasures there. If you're up here in Nantwich, I have a little booth selling again more vintage treasures called Dagfield's Antique Centre. It's a fabulous place there. I post pictures online. It is within potential that I can rehome these things to you. If you really love some of the pictures you see me post on Facebook, it is possible I can maybe send them to you. But, you know, my main passion is evolving consciousness and letting us get lighter and lighter and brighter and not hold the stories of our ancestors or our soul in our organs in our body, because when we hold them, and we can't help it because we've inherited some of it, we've got to let it go. And when we let that go, our digestion works better, our lymphatic system works better. You know, a lot of emotional trauma from just maybe not having a good diet in your family, how we process emotions in your family. Is there you know, often want to find the ancestor that had the emotional trauma and heal that. If you've seen me, I've made lots of videos that I collaborate with other people about entities and, you know, what happens when the soul leaves the body. And you know, I always take you to the next significant event in regression to past lives. And in general, there's only 9 significant events. I often say this in a lifetime, which puts a different perspective on things, I think. But I hope you've enjoyed listening to me. I have to go. I have lots of other things to do. But if you do want to book a session, they're very powerful healing sessions. You can see some people's feedback on the sessions they had. Probably on Facebook, there's more. On my business page, there's probably like testimonials from people. But book half an hour or book an hour. I don't do more than an hour in the emotional Akashic records. And then the in-person sessions, they can tend to be in London, in Glastonbury, in Cornwall, and sometimes up here in Cheshire. But mainly I'm in Glastonbury, and it's nice that I've got views of the tour. So ponder all that. I'm online daily from 9 a.m. UK time to 8 p.m. So I'm sending you all much love, and let's just see what anybody's saying. Hi Tom, thank you. Yeah, have a lovely time. Oh, I love Madeira myself. I do. I probably know you from Madeira. I love Madeira. Now, there's a powerful island. Madeira is near Portugal. It's a beautiful volcanic island, and it's got microclimates. And I feel personally, just before I go, that Madeira was part of ancient Lemuria. Maybe we could talk about Lemuria another day. Oh, thank you, Laurel. Oh, you used to watch. Oh, if anybody doesn't know, I used to do past life regression on UK TV, and she's saying she used to run home from school at 15 to watch me. Was it on This Morning, or was it Have I Been Here Before? I did 2 series of a show called Have I Been Here Before? And then I was also the expert for nearly a year on ITV's This Morning show back from 2004 to 2007. And then I would do talking heads on other UK TV shows as well. So, you know, that's the thing. I do think, oh, it's great. Those people, those regressions, although I would love to film some better quality ones from great more experience now. I'm a lot older. But wow, you were 15 then. So yeah, you may be, are you 35, 36 maybe now? Oh, you loved Have I Been Here Before? If you go back on this YouTube channel, you can see some of the early ones. I do cringe slightly because they are badly edited, and they do make me look like I shout at, like, and you're awake back in the room. And actually, if you've been my private client, you will know that I bring you out of your regression very gently. And these are edited at you know, to make them into the show. They were sort of like, yeah, 35. I thought you must be 35 now. Oh, thank you, Laurel. Thank you. Have we done a session together? Have you come to me for regression yet? I don't think so. But did that have a huge impact on you? Did that make you see, you know, the journey of the soul? Did it, you know, maybe changed your outlook on life at a very young age, at 15, about, you know, past lives and reincarnation and healing? You know, my thing is healing. although on TV we didn't really show so much about healing, although we did with a few members of the public, and they did occasionally let celebrities talk a bit. Oh my God, that was amazing. So your spiritual awakening came out of the back of a TV show, which is great, isn't it? Because on a higher level, that's what I hoped doing those shows would plant a seed of consciousness. Yes, I don't know where you live, Laurel, but yeah, come to Glastonbury. I think you'll really enjoy that. And they're 2-hour sessions, and you know, many people, it just helped them empower themselves and set them on another direction in life. So yeah, if you love the work I do, I would love, deeply love to film some newer regressions with people and do some sort of explaining why they went back to that bit of a past life and what that means for you in this lifetime. You know, the impact of healing that from a past life, what it will do to change your vibration, you know, release your fears, your phobias, your limiting beliefs, improve health issues. Because once we get to the origin of stress and anxiety, the impact of that is often that your health and well-being and your body will function better for you. I've stayed a bit longer because I'm super thrilled, Laurel, that Laurel or Laurel? Laurel, lovely name. But yeah, thank you so much for that, and sending you all so much love, and I'm so happy. Thanks. Yes. Ian has been a client. Ian had some very interesting past lives. I haven't done any for many years, isn't it now, maybe? But yeah, I think they were very powerful back in the day when Ian did some regressions. Yeah, many of them are very interesting that people have gone back to, but there was some deep healing took place for you there, Ian. I think, you know, I mean, imagine what your life would have been if you hadn't healed those. That's often what I think I say to people. Anyway, thanks everybody for joining me. I've waffled a little bit longer. If you want to see the beginning of this little video I made, I'll upload it in a minute and you can listen back. So thanks for now. My website's andreafoulkes.com, and if any of you, put it out there, actually build websites professionally for a living, do give me a shout out, because I have desperately needed a new website for a long time, but I've just been so busy with my parents until their passing that I just haven't had time to do it. So if you do, give me a shout out. That's what you do, and maybe we can collaborate. So much love, many blessings. Thanks for listening and staying tuned, and bye Laurel, bye Ian, thanks a lot, much love. Oh, Ian said he'd be dead if he hadn't done the regressions that we did. And when were they? Let me think. I'm trying to think when I left the Finborough Road. Gosh, maybe, yeah, because I left the Finborough Road and then I went to somewhere else in London before I left London. So maybe 18 years ago. Wow, 18 years ago. So yeah, wow. That's testament itself to the inner work really paying dividends, that someone said they'd be dead if they hadn't done those sessions. So yeah, very grateful that you came and did that work, and I'm so glad that we're still in touch as well, Ian. So I send you all much love and many blessings, and bye-bye for now. And as the Hawaiians say, a hui ho until we meet again, which means there are no goodbyes, just until we meet again. Much love. Bye everybody, much love. Bye. Bye-bye.